Hello, sweet faces. Welcome to this week's homework review. We are talking about exponents, and we're going to take a look at our first one. So some quick refreshers before we get started. When we're talking about an exponent, we are specifically talking about this small number that is attached to a larger number, which is called the base. The base tells us the number that we have. The exponent tells us how many of those numbers we have. So for this one, the number that we have is 10. How many do we have? It's 2. Always multiplying it by itself. So let's take a look. We are looking to see what is the base, what is the exponent, and I'm just going to go through and label them all first and then come back and solve them. So I'm going to label my base as yellow. So my base for this one is 4. Think of base as big. My base for this one is 5. My base is 7. My base is 8. My base is 3. And my base is 6. Going back and labeling my exponents now. My exponent is 3. My exponent is 2. My exponent is 2. My exponent is 2. Exponent is 3, and exponent is 2. You're going to see we start with a lot of 2s and 3s. Those are our common exponents. When we're talking about the 2 exponent, we could also say that this is a square or squared. When we talk about the 3, we're talking about cubed. So just some things to be familiar with when you see that little 2. You might also hear someone say 5 squared. When you see that little 3, you might hear someone say 4 cubed. So now we need to solve. That's the last part here. We need to solve. So what is 4 cubed or 4 to the third? 4 cubed is 4. Oh, let me change this over to my pen. Is 4 times 4 times 4. Exponents grow very quickly. 4 times 4 gives us 16. 16 times 4 is 64. So 4 cubed equals 64. 5 squared is the same as 5 times 5, which we know is 25. 7 squared is the same as 7 times 7. That equals 49. Remember, we can use our X or our dots interchangeably. We're going to get more to dots as we get into algebra. 8 squared is the same as 8 times 8, which gives us 64. 3 cubed is 3 times 3 times 3. 3 times 3 is 9. 9 times 3 is 27. And then the last one, 6 squared is 6 times 6, which is 36. This brings us to the end of our first homework assignment. Please go ahead and stop your video. At this point, I will give you the link again when you are ready for the next set of questions. All right, my loves, welcome back. We are still working on exponents. Remember, when we're talking about exponents, we are talking about the exponent, which is the tiny little number telling us how many we have. And we're talking about the base, which is the large number telling us the number we have. So the base is the number we have. The exponent is how many we have. So let's go ahead here and we're going to label the bases. So this base is 12, 9, 2, 2, 6, and 10. Going back and labeling the exponents, again, the small number telling us how many we have. 2, 2, 3, 2, 3, and 3. Now, we can have any exponent, but when we're starting with exponents, we see a lot of 2s and 3s. As a refresher, when you see the 2, we could also call that squared. And when we see the 3, we could also call that cubed. Now let's go back, expand these, and solve. 2 squared is the same as saying I have 12 squared is the same as saying I have 2 12s, which is 12 times 12, 144. 2 squared is the same as saying 2 times 2, which is 4. Remember, we can use this multiplication dot or the X interchangeably. 9 squared, or the same as 9 times 9, that gives us 81. 6 cubed, which is the same as 6 times 6 times 6. Remember, these grow very quickly. 6 times 6 is 36. 36 times 6 gives us 216. 2 cubed is 2 times 2 times 2. 2 times 2 is 4 times 2 equals 8. Last one, 10 to the third, or 10 times 10 times 10. 10 times 10 is 100, times 10 is 1,000. That brings you to the end of your second homework assignment. Please stop your video here. You will be provided this link again when you are ready for the next set of questions. All right, my loves, welcome back. We are still talking about exponents, but in true Mathletes fashion, we are taking this to the next level. So we have exponents, but we also have multiplication. This is similar to when we do in PEMDAS, right? We do parentheses, exponents, multiplication and division, addition and subtraction. We're going to still follow that same thing. We're going to solve our exponents first. So let's go ahead and go through. We're going to label our bases. Remember, the base is the big number. That's the number that we have. Oh, I just flip-flopped what I was labeling. I need my eraser. I labeled exponent, but I am labeling the base. There we go. So our base is the number we have. Talking about the exponent, that's the little number. That's how many we have. So for these, we have 10, but how many? We're working with cubed and squared numbers. Remember, the square is the 2, the cube is the 3. Solve the exponent first. So 10 to the third is 10 times 10 times 10. 10 times 10 is 100. 100 times 10 is 1,000. When we multiply 1,000 times 4, we get 4,000. Our answer for this one is 4,000. For 10 squared, 10 times 2 is 10 times 10, which is 100. So we need to do 5 times 100, which is 500. We notice here we have 100, 100, 1,000, and 100. Once we figure out the first two, now we know that 10 squared is 100 and 10 cubed is 1,000. Bring down your problem. 7 times 100 is 700. 8 times 100 is 800. 3 times 1,000 is 3,000. And 3 times 100 is 300. For those of you that were with me last year, you've heard over and over again, drop the 0, find the fact, multiply, put the zeros back. This follows that same set of rules. This brings us to the end of our third sheet. Please go ahead and stop this video now. You will be provided this link again when you are ready for the next set. All right, love bugs, we are at it again. Let's take a look. We're doing the same thing. We have our exponents and we are multiplying them. Now, last time when we were reviewing this, we noticed some patterns. We noticed that when we did 10 times 2, that gave us 100. So we're going to go ahead and fill those in. Use what you know. When we did 10 times 3, that gave us 1,000. Use what you know. Now remember, when we're looking at these, our base is the big number. It's the number that we have more than one of, although you can have an exponent of 1. And then our exponent is the tiny number on the top telling us how many we have. Now, thankfully, since we were able to make those connections, all we have to do is the last part. So we have 12 times 100, drop the zeros, find the fact, multiply, put it back. 12 times 100 is 1,200. 2 times 100 is 200. 9 times 100 is 900. 6 times 1,000 is 6,000. 2 times 1,000 is 2,000. 10 times 1,000 is 10,000. Please go ahead and stop this video here. If you have any questions, please bring them to class. I am always happy to answer them. Again, please stop the video. All right, loves, we are at our last one. We're taking it to the next level. Think PEMDAS. Think PEMDAS. We need to do parentheses, exponents, solve. Parentheses, exponents, solve. So let's take a look here. We have 6 times 8 is 48. With our parentheses, we know from this unit that 10 times 2 is 100. Now, drop the zeros. Find the fact. 48 times 1 is 48. Add my zeros. 4,800. 4 times 6 is 24. 10 to the third we know is 1,000. Drop the zeros, find the fact. 24 times 1 is 24. Put your zeros back. 24,000. 9 times 5 is 45. We know 10 squared is 100. 45 times 1 is 45. Add your zeros. 4,500. 6 times 2 is 12. 100 to the third is 10 to the third is 1,000. 12 times 1 is 12. Add back your zeros. 2 times 8 is 16. 10 to the third is 1,000. 16 times 1 is 16. Add 3 zeros. 10 times 5 is 50. 10 to the third is 1,000. 50 times 1 is 50. Add your zeros. That brings us to the end of our homework review for this week. Please reach out if you have any questions. Have a fantastic weekend, Mathletes.